Hello, fellow heroes! Alright, let's talk about Warzone 2.0. I recently got to play it. I kind of want to give you guys my thoughts about it, give a little bit of review. Overall, it keeps the charm of the original Warzone, but, makes some changes. Some are for the better, but honestly, I think most are for the worse. But starting off, the game itself is Modern Warfare 2 base, so it's going to have that pacing and the gunplay. The pacing's a bit slower, so it makes the game less arcadey. There's less sliding and jumping around, less mobility overall. So the more claustrophobic the map is, the kind of the better, because you have more options and agency when it comes to people sneaking up behind you and shooting you and things of that nature. Gunplay feels good. I've always enjoyed the Modern Warfare weapons, and they feel good overall. I don't really have a complaint with them. There's some that I prefer more than others, and I think really you could just kind of pick a gun and go crazy with it based on the attachments and how much again, agency they give you with that kind of stuff. So those are pluses, those are wins. Things get a bit different with the way that they structured the map, right? So they added some new things. They have like these forts that pop up when the ring starts to close in. It only goes up one time, basically the first time the ring starts closing. And there's these two fortifications where these bombs are planted by, I guess, AI, terrorist AI. And you go in, you fight the AI. For the most part, I mean, they act like Call of Duty AIs. They're just gonna stand out in the open and let you shoot them. I have seen them kill players though, so I don't know. I consider myself above average playing Call of Duty. So if you feel like you have a hard time with your KD and stuff like that, just watch out for those computers, because it's kind of funny the amount of times people have been downed by those AI. You sneak past the AI or you kill your way past them. Which you kind of got to unload a whole clip into them to get them down, because they got that armor, which can be kind of annoying. And you defuse the bomb, and you get a lot of loot out of it. This is really cool, and I think I like the idea, and it's a way to lure players in, I suppose. However, in the 4 or 5 games that I played, I only ever saw like 2 other people. So out of the 5 games total that I played, me and 2 other people only ever were around those forts. And the reason I know this is because whenever you capture the fort, it gives off like a UAV constantly in that area, so you can see everyone in that area and you go after it. I was playing in solos though, so I bet if you're playing in quads and things of that nature, you'd probably be a little more interesting. Another feature that they changed is kind of the buy boxes, or whenever you go to buy guns or kill streaks and stuff like that, you can actually get your gun loadouts. Now, they still drop loadouts from the planes that everyone can fight over. I wasn't ever really able to get to one in time. People would already grab them because they get dropped in a straight line. But the new with the buy boxes, you can go in, buy a loadout that you've made. So as you level up a gun through the game, through multiplayer or even through Warzone, you get more attachments for it, which then you can tweak it if it's maxed out, which then you can take into Warzone and have at that. I think that's cool. I think one of the strong suits about Warzone were the loadouts, and how people would take a gun that wasn't meta and make it meta through loadouts and customizations even further in Modern Warfare 2. So this is a plus. This to me is great. They did in the buying module have what's like limited amounts of kill streaks, as well as other things like the armor piercing bullets, which, side note, super overpowered with the armor piercing bullets. Definitely load up on those if you can. But the reason I don't like the limited kill streaks is because we're already fighting over resources, like money wise, and I think that kind of takes away from the fun factor of the game, being able to just buy up on loadouts. And it seems like they give you less money in this game, unless you're really seeking out players and killing them and grabbing contracts constantly, and you just have a boatload of cash that you can drop for a max amount of kill streaks. I don't know why they do that. Even when I was just running around checking buildings to see how much loot buildings would have, or what chests might drop, I was running into kill streaks to the point where, like, you can only carry 1 kill streak at a time, so I would have all these kill streaks that were available to me, and I couldn't pick them up because they were plentiful. So I don't know what that's all about. However, I do think it's weird that they would limit it in the buy boxes. I just think that's a loss. I feel like, that's something that just makes the game fun, kind of more chaotic, and it is another reason for you'll find people there fighting over that kind of stuff. Whereas now it's you're there, you're just there to get your loadout. And speaking of which, the loadouts make it to where I don't care about going to the strongholds, the fortitudes, the two that pop up at the very beginning, because if I can get enough money early on, which I think it was like 5,000 or 6,000, cash, I could just buy one of my guns that I like or that they have set up for me, which are better than the guns, majority of the guns that I find lying around that, are not fully attached, do not have full attachments on them. So that's probably a big reason why no one was using the fortification. So their efforts to try to get people to find each other and fight each other kind of fail. And a motorcycle drives right by. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but darn that motorcycle every time I'm recording. But there's also, they took away some features. Like, again, the pacing's slower. Mobility is less. They took, in their attempts to copy Fortnite, and I'm not fully copy Fortnite, but they added gas, they added fuel to vehicles, all vehicles. So there's gas stations on the map where you can find gas tanks and you can refuel your vehicle as you're using them, which I understand. You don't want someone staying in a vehicle the entire game and maybe cheesing their way out of it, but it just, with how they redesign buildings, and the fuel and choppers, even jumping out of a chopper, you can't really drop a chopper. Everything slow falls. It feels like they're forcing me to play a certain way. Like they took away a lot of options for me to go and find players and make it to where that fight can happen more easily. They really slowed it down. And I think, like, if Call of Duty wants to be a slow pace battle royale game, by all means, that's the way to go. Anyone can go play any of the other ones, but I like that in Fortnite that you have the option to move around the map fast, that you could go look for those fights, and where as you kind of get the same thing in Call of Duty, whereas picking up bounties and things of that nature. It just bothers me that, like, the chopper slow falling, it as much as I never did it, as much as I hated when it happened to me, people squishing me with a chopper or taking a four-wheeler inside of a building, the third story of a building, and running people over with them, that is players finding and creating fun in their own way. And for them to take that out and say, no, you were playing the game wrong. Maybe there was a lot of complaints. I don't see that being big of a complaint. It's not like people were winning by squishing others in choppers, right? I feel like I got more annoyed with people with riot shields and those katana sticks than anything else. But why would that's just a big loss? That's a big L that Warzone would do, that Activision would push onto us, and then forcing, the Fortnite system thing that I'm calling it the Fortnite system, the fort system that they have with the AI is not gathering a bunch of players, and it's just better to go to the boxes, and it's just weird. It doesn't feel all that together. It is interesting how the gulag works now. You get to go in with a teammate or a random person if you're not squatted up with people, and then it's two of you versus two other people. You fight them off. If you take too long, a juggernaut jumps in and kills both of you. And I think, it hasn't happened to me yet, I probably should have tested this out, but from what it sounds like, if the juggernaut kills you, you just don't get to spawn back. You lose your ability to spawn back. So essentially, that's cool. I like that. That's interesting. Two people in the gulag changes up the pace. But tell me if the juggernaut kills you. Also, tell me what you guys think of Warzone. For the most part, I'm a bit upset. It's been kind of confirmed to me that Rebirth Island isn't coming back, so I'm a bit upset that they're kind of tunnel visioning or forcing us to play a certain way. I don't like that they're taking away my options, my agency, the way I want to play. It seems like even though they added features that enhanced the value of the gameplay itself and the mechanics of the game and really highlighted what was good about the first Warzone, they took away features from the first Warzone as well. And it feels like they took more away than they added at some points. And it does feel like a different battle royale in its own self, but I don't know if it's something that I see myself playing it in the long run. And again, mechanically speaking, if I were to give this a score, honestly, probably like a 7 out of 10 personally, maybe like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. But I do enjoy Warzone more than I enjoy the multiplayer, if that has anything to say about that. I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts are down below. Until next time, play nice.